We're going to look at lesson 2.1, el presente de los verbos a er. So in order to talk about activities, you have to use verbs. Verbs express actions or states of being. In English and Spanish, the infinitive is the base form of the verb. They always end in AR, ER, or IR. In English, the infinitive is preceded by the word to, like estudiar, to study, or ser, to be, or the verb comer, to eat, escribir, to write. So it's very easy to recognize Spanish verbs simply because they always end in one of these three ways. And in this chapter, we'll be looking at the present tense of AR verbs. To create the forms of most regular verbs in Spanish, simply drop the infinitive endings, AR, ER, or IR. You then add the stem endings that correspond to the different subject pronouns. So for estudiar, if we drop the AR, we have estudi, or add the endings yo estudio. We'll look at these now. So the endings are o, as, a, amos, ais, an. Do know that the A in the vosotros form always has an accent mark on it. That will be true for each one of these three types of verbs. And for ER verbs, it will have an accent mark on the E. And for I verbs, it will have an accent mark on the I. So it's pretty easy to remember in that way. So if we look at the verb estudiar, for example, we just take off the AR, we are left with the root, which is estudi. If we add the endings, we have yo estudio, tú estudias, él, ella, usted estudia, nosotros estudiamos, vosotros estudiáis, ellos, ellas, ustedes estudian. So some common AR verbs. This list is in your book on page 51. Do know that you'll be responsible for all these verbs on the quiz and on the exam. And they're also very common to hear. So I'll read them for you now. Bailar, to dance. Buscar, to look for. Caminar, to walk. Cantar, to sing. Cenar, to have dinner. Or in Spain, cenar. Comprar, to buy. Contestar, to answer. Conversar, to converse or to chat. Desayunar, to have breakfast. Descansar, to rest. Desear, to desire. Or desear plus infinitive is to wish. For example, deseo descansar, I wish to rest. Dibujar, to draw. Enseñar, to teach. Escuchar, to listen to. Esperar, to wait, or esperar plus infinitive, to hope or to hope for. Estudiar, to study. Explicar, to explain. Hablar, to talk or to speak. Llegar, arrive, to arrive. Llevar, to carry. Mirar, to look at or to watch. Necesitar, to need. Practicar, to practice. Preguntar, to ask, like a question. Preparar, to prepare. Regresar, to return. Terminar, to end or to finish. Tomar, to take or to drink. Trabajar, to work. Viajar, to travel. Like I said, you're responsible for these words, so I would memorize them. Specifically looking at buscar, escuchar, esperar, and mirar, in Spanish they work a little differently than they do in English. In English, these are often followed by prepositions. For example, for buscar, you look for something in English, but in Spanish, it's simply buscar without a preposition. Busco la tarea, I'm looking for the homework. Busco las llaves, I'm looking for the keys. Same thing with espero. In English, you wait for something, but in Spanish, it's simply esperar. Espero el autobús, I'm waiting for the bus. Same thing happens with escuchar. In English, you listen to something, like I'm listening to the music. But in Spanish, it has no preposition. Escucho la música. Escucho la radio. Also with mirar. In English, you look at something. But in Spanish, mirar already means to look at. So I'm looking at the blackboard. Miro la pizarra. Some people also use miro la televisión. So English uses three sets of forms to talk about the present tense. We have the simple present, such as Paco works, the present progressive, Paco is working, and the emphatic present, Paco does work. In Spanish, the simple present means all three of these things. Por ejemplo, Paco trabaja en la cafetería can mean Paco works in the cafeteria. Paco is working in the cafeteria, like right now. Also, Paco does work in the cafeteria. In both Spanish and English, the present tense is also sometimes used to express future action. Marina viaja a Madrid mañana. Marina travels to Madrid tomorrow. Marina will travel to Madrid tomorrow. Marina is traveling to Madrid tomorrow. They can all mean the same, just with the word viaja, or in the simple present tense. So when two verbs are used together with no change of subject, the second verb is almost always in the infinitive. For example, deseo hablar con Señor Díaz. I want to speak with Mr. Diaz. It's just that you don't conjugate the second verb. If we look back here at a word like necesitar, necesitar has an infinitive. Necesito practicar español. Because necesito is conjugated, practicar wouldn't be. In English, I need to practice Spanish. Necesito practicar español. To make a sentence negative in Spanish, the word no is placed before the conjugated verb. In this case, no means not, or does not. Alicia no desea bailar ahora. Alicia doesn't want to dance now. Or no deseo practicar español. Algo así. Another curious thing about Spanish and verbs is that Spanish speakers often omit subject pronouns simply because the verb endings indicate who the subject is, meaning Spanish is a pro-drop language. English is not a pro-drop language. If you think about I study, you study, he studies, and if those pronouns weren't there, we wouldn't know who you're talking about because you're just saying the word study. But in Spanish, because we have the distinct endings, you can often drop the first one. Por ejemplo, ¿qué enseñan? What do they teach? It's very intuitive. I know that it's ellos because the ending is enseñan. Or ¿quién desea trabajar hoy? Who wants to work today? Notice there's no subject pronoun in that. Such that in Spanish, subject pronouns are used usually for emphasis, clarification, or contrast. Por ejemplo, ella enseña arte y él enseña física. She teaches art and he teaches physics. Or yo no deseo trabajar hoy. I don't want to work today, to put emphasis on the fact that it's I. Let's look at this example from your book with the verb hablar. Yo hablo español. Ellos hablan español. Inés habla español. Nosotras hablamos español. Tú hablas español.